and welcome to the fourth day of the 5-day out of the box trainings challenge. I'm Dr. Michelle Petacola, founder of Secrets of Life and Death, both a training program and a film series, and Second Chance Secrets, where I help smart men and women to recreate their lives after a loss, divorce, or a life transition. And we are in a huge life transition right now. In case you haven't noticed it, Mother Nature is really pushing us. The pandemic, forest fires in California, heat waves in New York, tornadoes in New Orleans, and now there's this big hurricane heading towards the oil fields of Texas. So a lot of stuff is going on. What's been happening to us, though, is that we are having to learn to do life in a different way. Not only life, but our work as well. A lot of people are working from home. If you are a coach, an independent entrepreneur, you have to find a new way of doing things. And I've been really, really impressed by how amazing human beings, Americans, are stepping up to the challenge. People who have restaurants, finding out a way to reach their customers. But you, if you were a coach or a healer, a speaker, if you used to reach your people by speaking live, this is a whole new game. Learning how to speak on Facebook Live, on Instagram, on YouTube, how to speak in a way that is engaging and enrolling. It's not the same game. As I've said all week long, it is equivalent to the change in the movies when they went from silent films to talkies. You have to change your whole way of presenting. When you're presenting to a group of 30, 100, 300 people, you have to play big. You have to play dramatic. And you get to connect with your audience. They're right there. You can see them. Once you get over your fear and all that stuff that you have to get over. But here hi, thank you for joining. Hey, Terry, you have been so wonderful. I just love you. It says bring them on your camera. Well, I'm not ready for that yet, but Terry, thank you for joining. I would love you to post or say like or something to attract more people. That's the name of the game in social media, which is what I'm talking about. How do you show up in social media? I'm so excited. Today, 2 of my clients showed up in their first Facebook Live because I've been inviting them to step out of the box, and been amazing changes in their boldness, their courage. That's what the purpose of Out of the Box is that you step out of your comfort zone and you try out new things. And the purpose of the challenge is to excite you, to get you to make a commitment so that you actually try it out, see what happens. How's it working for you? Today is about discovery. What have you learned so far from stepping out of the box? I'm going to share in a moment some of the things that I've learned. But first, I want to go over the whole sequence. For any of you who have just showed up today, the first day was about setting your intentions. If you need a makeover, if you need to change the way that you're doing things, it's good to have it in your mind, but there's a whole nother realm of change that has to happen in your body. And that's my expertise, because I've worked with people going through transitions for over 20 years. How do you change not only your thoughts, but also how to deal with your feelings and how to change your behavior? That's what people want to do in their intentions, is set an intention. How can I be more authentic? How can I be more engaging? How can I be more focused? How can I remember what the heck I'm going to say on Facebook Live? How do I do that? Now, the interesting thing about stepping out of the box is that you don't actually have to do exactly what you're trying to change. Any out of the box starts to stimulate your body, to open you up to making huge shifts. So day 1 was about setting intentions. Day 2 was about making commitments. In this day and age of being so busy, sometimes it's hard to make commitments. Or you make commitments and you kind of play it half-assed. You're not really showing up. Or you make commitments, but in this case, there's no cost. This is free to you as a service from me to help you get out of the box. And yes, I have to be honest, full disclosure, I am looking for a few superstars to join my brand new Second Chance certification. And this is a program that enables people to heal their past and get clear about what it is that they have to offer as coaches or healers. Finding out exactly what their gifts are, developing a program that's enrolling, that makes a difference. There's a lot of coaches out there that don't really know what they're doing. Working with you to make sure that you get the results that you want. And finally, how do you promote yourself? How do you speak? How do you speak in this new world? So yes, I am looking for clients. In the meantime, you can ride the coattails. So today, day 3 was about resistance. So part of it is commitment. How do you commit? How do you commit by saying your word or committing to other people? That's the idea of the challenge, is that you make a commitment, a verbal commitment. None of you have done that yet. Clearly you have some issues with commitment, or you're too busy, which is another excuse for not committing, for not showing up. I know about that. I made the commitment to draw every night. This out-of-the-box drawing 2-minute, 3-minute, 5-minute drawings, real quick sketches, not getting it right, getting in that moment of creation. Because when I do that, it stimulates my creativity. But I always have a million things to do, and so I don't get to it, or I'm too tired. I say, oh, I'm too tired. That's resistance. You want to step up and make the difference in your life. So day 4, which is today, is about discovery. What have you learned from stepping out of the box? It isn't just about stepping out of the box. Woohoo, I stepped out of the box, yay! But how do you feel afterwards? How does it impact your life? How is it changing you? So the way in which I got even into this whole idea of out of the box was through this drawing series. My sister, for my birthday, sent me this amazing book on drawing just like if you were a child, and drawing quickly. The idea, as I said, is to get in the moment. It's about awareness. It's about getting into a different state. It's when we get into this different state that we actually make the most important changes, because we access source. We access our brilliance. So I got started. I did a few days of it. And then would you believe I lost the book for about 4 months? Talk about resistance, right? So finally, I just went and looked for it, and I finally found it in my bookcase. And I have 2 huge bookcases full of books. So it took some time to find that book, but finally I did it. And then resistance stepped in. And then I did it again. And that's when I discovered that doing that stimulated creativity. As a coach, I am in creative mode a lot of the time. I need to be in creative mode, not only to come up with new ideas for helping my clients to get the results they want, but also to promote myself. It takes a lot of creativity. Have you seen some of those pictures that I have put out for the 5-day out of the box. Did you see the little man peeking out of the box? That is part of the creativity, and you don't have it unless you work on it. You get exhausted, you get stale, you get used up. In fact, I used to do my drawings, the dinosaurs and the rabbits and stuff, every month, and I used to post a blog, and I used to write an email. And then, after 3 years, I'm doing Facebook Lives. I can't do both. So I have chosen to do Facebook Live because this is the new media. I still have hundreds of people in my email list, but they have to get used to going and looking at the Facebook Lives, going and looking at the video and seeing me. It's a different way of connecting. Okay, so what I learned from getting out of the box is that I get more creative. So what else? What I learned from getting out of the box is once you get out of the box, whatever it is that you did is no longer out of the box. That's right. Now you have to stretch even further. So it's a continual experience of expansion, of expanding your boundaries, your energy, your vitality. And each time you do something new, it puts you in that state of awareness, that state of hypersensitivity, which is what you want. That's what you want when you show up on Facebook Live, because you have to trust yourself. You have to be able to be present. Number 3, discovery. I discovered that I can also get out of the box and in the box at the same time. What do I mean by that? I mean that I approach the out-of-the-box assignment like I approach everything else, as a task, and I get greedy. I rush. I do more and more and more. One day I was like doing 5 or 6 different out-of-the-box things, one after the other, and then I kind of got overwhelmed. So you have to be, it's not about just doing the get out of the box. It's the results. It's what you get from getting out of the box. It's taking the time to be aware and see, oh, what's showing up. So let's see. I dropped, oh my gosh, I'm really bright. I wonder if I should move over a bit. Yes, that was a secret little trick I used to go down and find my notes. Oh, right. So this is another interesting thing that happens, is that when you're going out of the box, if it doesn't work right, or you're frustrated, or you get, it doesn't work out right, like for example today, in line with getting out of the box every day, I am doing my Facebook Live in a different place. Now, I would really like to be doing it out in the cemetery, but I don't know whether it's quiet at this time. And I certainly don't want to go up there and have a lot of machinery in the cemetery making noise. So I'm doing it in the living room instead. But if you have been watching me for the last year, you know that most of the time I do all of my Facebook Live in my office. And I know exactly where the good places are in my office. But I'm out in the living room, and I'm still learning where it works, where the light's too much. And in my house, there is a lot of light. So light is great. It lightens up my face. It's wonderful, but you don't want people blasting out, or me blasting out, or you getting too much light, because then you can't see me, then you can't enjoy me. So the other thing that I've been doing, getting out of the box, is going to the cemetery early in the morning. Now I go early in the morning because it's quiet then. I go early in the morning because I love the cemetery early in the morning. Sometimes the mist is still all around. You can barely see the Golden Gate Bridge, or maybe you can't even see it at all because the fog is still in. It's very mystical, very mysterious, and it's very alone, and I love that. I love doing that. It's probably not the best time to catch people. But maybe it is. For people in New York, it might be just fine. 7 to 8, 8 to 9, 9 to 10 o'clock. Sure, it's great for people in New York. And we are moving into a new global community. I belong to Toastmasters. And if you are a speaker, I got to tell you, Toastmasters is the best deal out there for upgrading your speaking. Now, one of my clients said, you know, when you joined Toastmasters, you actually got more stiff. Well, it is true. It is a challenge to learn to speak for 7 minutes. And since I've been starting to do these Facebook Lives, I've gotten a little sloppy at the uhs and ums and buts and so's. Therefore, when I get back to Toastmasters, all those little filler words are there again. Because when I speak on Facebook Live, I'm not trying to fill all of everything into 7 minutes. In fact, I'm trying to get out of that particular style of speaking. And I'm encouraging you, if you are a speaker, to play with that. Now, the cool thing about my Facebook challenge is that I not only invite you to practice speaking, but also to try different characters on, different archetypes, to stretch your vocabulary, to stretch your presentation style, and discover what are the good and what are the not so good aspects of these various archetypes. So the 3 archetypes that I introduce you to, one is the pleaser. The pleaser is a behavior pattern that many of us, many women, develop as a result of being in this Western culture where we are encouraged to be supportive of other people. Hey, thank you, Carol. Then also the pleaser is in this mindset of believing that they need to get love, appreciation, feel worthwhile when they get the approval of other people. So they're always outwardly focused. Now, there's some good aspects of outwardly focused. For example, if I'm outwardly focused, I can pay attention to what it is that you want and zero in on that. The difference is that I want to do that not to get your like, but actually to uplift you, to be of service. So part of the people pleaser archetype is helpful in doing Facebook Lives, is having that sensitivity, that awareness, and giving really good value. People pleasers are really good at giving awesome value. That's why the society really likes them and rewards them. Sort of. What they don't reward people pleasers for is the higher up jobs. Because in order to be higher up, to raise in higher status, higher job descriptions, or even to enroll, you need to be an authority. You need to be a leader. And you cannot be a pleaser and a leader at the same time. Now, you may find that the second archetype, which is the controller, is an easier avenue into leadership, because the controller is not trying to get your approval. The controller is trying to control the situation. Hey, thank you. Hey, Jerry, thank you. Oh my gosh, thank you so much. She just said I was brilliant. Thank you. Well, that's the name of the group, right? Live your brilliance. That's what it's all about. So, Jerry, thank you. So where was I? Yes. So the controller is about safety, is about creating a safe container and showing up powerfully to make sure that that container is maintained. So that's a really valuable aspect of leadership, is to have that strength, to have that certainty, to have that self-trust. My husband is amazing. He is definitely in that archetype. And when it comes to building or fixing things or creating things, he's an artist. He has that total confidence. So what's the downside of the controller? Well, the controller has barriers. The controller has defenses, and they have a hard time letting other people in. And one of the things that our people want is to have that connection. So you want to blend that people pleaser with that authority of the controller. So the third archetype is the one we're going to look at today, and that is the performer. The performer is what you used to be when you were speaking in person. You were speaking live, face-to-face. You could feel your audience, and you could get high on that. And you would literally get the energy. Now, how are you going to get the energy, that kind of energy, off that little tiny lens on your smart camera? You have to learn how to do that for yourself. And guess what? Each one of these things are what you want to gain, not only for your speaking, but for yourself. You don't want to throw out the baby with the bath. You want all of those aspects of yourself. The person who is pleasing, is intimate, is available, open-hearted. You want the person who is powerful and strong. And Jerry, by the way, you are totally both of those. You come from the heart, and you are also very powerful. And then the performer is the person who is able to show up, that actually enjoys showing off, sharing their brilliance. So those are the three archetypes. So what do you need to do today? If you are going to take the challenge and do your talk, that's the assignment, is to do a video, and you don't have to do it live, and you don't even have to post it in the group. That's for the advanced people. But you do want to do it. Make a 3 or 4 minute video of yourself talking about what it is that you do in a way that's engaging, in a way that shows off your performer self. And I gave an example of that in the training this morning, so go ahead and take a look at how I did that. Okay, so what else do I have on my notes? What else can I talk about? Why don't you post some questions? I know you guys are shy. I understand. It's like, you're powerful out there, and maybe you're afraid that if you post something that people are going to look at you as being a student. Well, frankly, I believe that we are students throughout our lives. Don't get caught up. Well, I invite you to not get caught up with labels or how your audience perceives you. If you are in integrity, if you are true to yourself, none of that matters. That, by the way, is the gift of the controller, is that they don't care about what other people think about them. They are out of the box most of the time. So what else? I'm going to take a moment here and think, open to what your questions might be. The webinar. So tomorrow we're going to have a webinar. Yay! We get to actually see each other face to face. Yay! What a change. Okay, that does mean you have to get out of your hiding and show up. And I'm going to post the registration link in this video after it's done. You're going to have to give me your email and your name. Big whoop. If you're in this group, I already have access to you anyway, so what the heck. I do not spend a lot of time sending emails out. I won't even put you on my email list. Just maybe a reminder about the webinar, because I want you to show up, because it's going to be fun. I will review what I've reviewed today, maybe in a little more detail. I will invite you to share your results, what discoveries you've had, what resistance has shown up and how have you handled it? So we get to share our wins. And then finally, I'm going to talk about what are your next steps. You have been exposed to this amazing experience. Maybe you haven't quite totally fully embraced it. Maybe you need a little more hand-holding. Well, I'm going to tell you how you can get that. Would that sound good? So that's what's going to happen tomorrow. It's only an hour long. It's at 1:30 Pacific Daylight Saving Time. I will be here. You will be able to interact with me, ask your questions firsthand, and get out of the box. So my final question to you is, what are you going to do today to get out of the box? What action can you take? So 2 of my clients already took action. They went out to a lovely park. They actually posted it on our private group and took not only selfie pictures, but they actually did a Facebook Live. Now, I'm really excited for them for doing that. And I totally connect with it because this week, for the first time, I did Instagram Live. I've never done that before. I didn't even know that you could do live Instagram, but I have done it several times. I'm not quite sure where it lands or how to get back to it. I always make a habit of reviewing my videos afterwards. It's really important because that's the only way that you learn, is by viewing yourself. Full disclosure, I have been on camera all my life. My mother was a photographer. She was always taking pictures of us. She was always, hi, thank you for joining. She was always posing us. So I'm used to the camera. And then later on, I started doing a TV series, first in New York and then in San Francisco. So I had a talk show, and I actually did one of those shows a month live, and the other one was recorded. And I would field questions, or I would send the questions to my guests. So I have done that, and I have appeared in my documentary film series. So yes, I'm used to this, and yet still there was a way in which I had to upgrade. And I'm inviting you to upgrade to this new modality. So take this seriously, do something out of the box, come to the webinar tomorrow. It's a chance to connect face-to-face, which is the best we can do right now. Although I have to say I was pretty interested. There were my 2 clients together, like not six feet apart. So we're starting to get a sense of who it is that we are safe hanging out with. Although Jerry was wearing a mask. So step up, be brilliant. Come back tomorrow. There will be no training in the morning, but I will probably post a Facebook Live saying, hey, don't forget, come to the webinar and get out of the box. That's it for today. Hope you enjoyed this. Love you. Be brilliant. And bye for now.